Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shade of It All. I'm Brandon,
I'm Magdala.
and we are reporting live on a Wednesday morning. This is our first morning recording, I feel like.
Happy Juneteenth. We got the day off that we're like, okay, let's record early.
Happy Juneteenth. Yeah, it's 10 a.m., which is early for us?
Yeah.
Maggie's like,
What time did
correct.
you wake up? I woke up at like 8:45.
I woke up at I think 8 o'clock is
Okay.
when I officially did, and then I had some coffee and stuff. But it takes me a minute. Like, I need to be in bed. I need to ease into it. I need to drink my water, my coffee, have a snack, let everything just occur and just be in the moment. But now I think
Yeah.
I'm ready. But
I had an episode to watch, so as soon as I woke up, I looked at the time and I was like, okay, start the video now. And I was just watching it and taking notes as I was like getting ready and eating breakfast and
oh
stuff.
my God, last night's episode, that was wild.
Woo, we got a lot to talk about. Brandon, let's get into
We
it.
do. Let's get into it. We're going to be covering Love Island USA season 6, episodes 6 to 8, which only 3 episodes, but I feel like 7 and 8 was kind of jam-packed with a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's get started with episode 6. And this is, I think, pretty much, I'm trying to think, it's like the aftermath of that game, the
Yeah.
vacation vixens, because
Mm-hmm.
I have as my first note that Kaylor, who cries I think at least 15,000 more times in these 3 episodes, is
Poor
just like,
girl.
oh, if she was Aaron, she would have been pissed with what she did, and she wasn't thinking about him in that moment. And I'm like,
Yeah.
clearly.
Right. And he's like, well, if you don't like someone, don't do it. And if I wouldn't do it to you, don't do it to me. And then in her, I think, I don't know if she says this is, I don't know who she says at some point. I don't know if she said it to the cameras or just to a friend. She was like, yeah, if he kissed somebody, I'd be really upset. And it's like, yes, Kaylor. Yes, girl. So let's use your brain.
So why do
She's
you keep
22.
kissing other people?
She's like,
I
I'm dating showing up. They got everybody. It's like,
It's
no, that's not
literally
cute.
every 2 seconds. She's just like, it just sucks because I don't want to lose my best friend, but it's just I don't want to
Uh,
miss out on this experience. And it's like, okay, we get it. Jesus.
Anytime Kaylor opens her mouth, I just remind myself that she's 22 and I just digress because I'm like, she's young. And I also feel like maybe they've seen the show. Maybe this cast is a little more coupley than normal because I will say that it's really like, oh, you're with him, so I'm not talking to you. There's not a lot of intermingling. Like they all kind of stay in their lane, like, oh, you're coupled up? Okay, so I'm not talking to Hakeem, and I'm not talking to Connor. And I feel
Yeah.
like at least because the first like a couple of like for several days they were all like evenly there,
Hmm.
right? Six girls, six guys, I think. So I wonder if maybe other casts are more free, like free flowing, but this one is very like, no, you're coupled, so I'm not talking to you.
They're
I'm over
very
here with my person.
respectful.
Yeah.
But then when the bombshells come at some point, I feel like maybe with the other ones, they just weren't interested in anyone else. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't seem like anyone's into Hakeem. And
Mm-mm.
I
Or
mean, who else is there? Well,
Connor.
Connor, but he has
Cordell. No,
Janae.
they're not really interested. The of the original six
Oh
girls who
yeah.
were here at the start, they're not interested in Cordell, Connor. They're really nobody is interested in the person that's not their person.
Yeah. But
That's what
that
it is.
this is about to be flipped upside down soon.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
but
but yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say Kaylor does apologize to Aaron,
Yeah,
which
she
is
feels
nice, I
bad.
guess.
I
While
guess.
sobbing. I did write that. Oh, there was one funny moment that I just had to write down because I thought it was funny. I think they wake up and Liv says to Connor, oh, you wake up like a Disney prince. And he just so earnestly goes, thank you. Like it was such a genuine love of that comment. And I was like, that's kind of funny.
Hilarious.
Um, I will say, and I also wrote down a joke. I think it was a joke, but I didn't like it. Although I kind of like Aaron goes, the only people who deserve breakfast are Janae and Serena. And I'm like, although
Uh,
I agree they're great, who are you to say that the others don't deserve breakfast? Shut up, Aaron.
right. And then Rob chimes in. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna make a two-faced avocado toast with half avocado. And then I'm gonna tell Leah that that's how she thinks I am because she thinks I'm two-faced. And it's like, Rob, if that joke upset you, this was like a day ago. If that joke upset you, you need to use your words and tell her. Like,
Right?
and I think she was joking, but you have been behaving two-faced. Like you
You're
say something to
incredibly
live,
two-faced.
you're very two-faced. So she's not far off, Rob. Like, okay, you
Leah's very
know,
intuitive. I've come
very.
to realize from these three episodes. She picks up
She's
on a
smart.
lot.
Leah's
She
very
is.
smart.
We love Leah,
Um,
but also their avocado toast, again, like that's all they make here. And never does it look, I think it only looked good like once, and it's like Liv made it because she put
yeah,
like bacon and eggs, like she judged it up a little bit and like I
yeah.
think seasoned things. So I was like, okay, Liv.
I noted that Connor and Hakeem and Liv had a chat, and
Oh
he's
yeah.
like flirting with her. They're kissing and stuff. And he's like, "So how was my avocado toast?" And she's like, "A three." And he's like, "Yeah,
Oh
3 out of
yeah.
3." And she's like, "Sure." And he's like, "Nah, man, your avocado toast was trash." And I let Liv just like says what's on her mind. She's not sugarcoating anything for anybody.
I love Liv. She's
And then
really
she,
grown on me.
yeah, she has. She's very confident. I don't feel like there's a guy in the house right now that really catches her vibe.
No.
But she did say that she didn't really like making out with him. So I thought that was interesting. I don't feel like she's really feeling Akeem at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah, no, I agree. It doesn't seem as though she's like connecting with him. I don't think yeah, I think she probably just thinks he's like stupid, kind
Yeah.
of, like a little bit.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of people just don't take Hakeem seriously, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. I want to know like what they do, and I wish we had live feeds for this show because I really want to know what they're doing in their downtime. Like he's probably talking to everybody, but I don't know.
There is something with him. Like I like him, but there's something off that I can't put my like finger on.
I wonder if him arguing with Leah in public has made people like, ooh, stay away. Because
Maybe.
I note later, and I don't think it matters, but there was one morning where Hakeem wakes up, so does Serena, and Serena jumps in his arms, and I'm like, Serena, maybe maybe talk to Hakeem. Serena, I just feel like you might like him, and they looked cute
Yeah,
for a second. I was like, because I keep remembering they say someone's here for everyone. I wonder if Hakeem is like not talking enough or the girls aren't giving him time. I don't know. Or again, if they're
maybe.
just all being respectful. It's just weird.
It is. But this is the episode, speaking of Serena, where Serena very much comes to the decision that she's just not into Cordell
Yeah.
and she can't be fake and she needs her space. And
Hmm.
there was an awkward moment where he like brought her, I
Yo,
think
that was so awkward.
he brought her breakfast. I can't remember if it was avocado toast or not. It
It
probably was.
was. It was.
But and then he's like, "Oh, do you want your tea?" And she's like, "Oh, I know how to make it. Like I make it a certain way." He's like, "Oh, well, I can learn." And he's like following her. And it was
Yeah, and
so awkward.
she just like kind of walked away from him and I was like, Serena, I don't think it was intentionally malicious, but it just looked really bad. I don't think neither of them felt any kind of way. But he like
Hmm.
goes up to her, hugs her, wants to have this moment and she just kind of walks away from him and I'm like, this is just a little weird.
Yeah.
And
And
maybe she's not a morning person. I don't know, but like she didn't really give him much in that moment. And I was like, Serena, that's not really nice. He
she
needs you to be
didn't.
nice.
And like after talking to Leah and Janae, she comes to the conclusion too that she needs to actually like break up with him. Cause I think she
Yeah.
acknowledged she's like, I feel myself being rude because I'm annoyed, but I don't want to be that way.
Yeah.
So she does sit him down and she's
And they
like,
talk. I,
look.
well, before that, I thought it was funny how she's trying to explain to Janae what
Oh
it's
yeah.
like to talk to him. And she's like, tell me a story. And she's like, yeah, so there was a coyote on a hill, and he'll be like, yeah, coyotes. Uh-huh. And
I
I'm like,
always see a
oh,
coyote.
I see coyotes every day. there are 10 coyotes in my neighborhood. I raised one. Like it
I
just seems
raised one.
it just seems like he like just kind of, and I kind of saw this later in his conversations with other people,
Oh yeah.
but I was like, okay, I kind of get why you're getting the ick from him. Like
Yeah.
he just, it's not natural. Like, oh, coyote, oh my gosh. Like you could, be interested, but it just sounds like he just kind of says what she thinks he wants to hear. And I understand it more from her example.
No, I do too. And it's kind of like he's not, again, like he's not really listening. He's just trying to, again, like say the right thing. And he's not
Yeah.
like digesting what she's saying.
Yeah.
So they do break up. And although he seems like upset, he's like respectful. And I thought it was nice how the guys all comforted him. It was
Yeah. Like
sweet.
they're so freaking nosy. Oh my gosh, you can't do anything in this house.
Oh no.
But yeah, she like pulls him aside and she's just like, it's been a week and she's not really feeling it. And she's getting more of a friend vibe. He's completely shocked. Like I because it's funny because like before this, he's talking to Kendall and he's like, we're on the same page. And now it's like, no, she wasn't feeling it,
Oh yeah.
saying he doesn't really listen when she talks and stuff. And that's not the only thing. Because he was like, what did I do wrong? And she's like, well, you don't really listen when I talk, but like, that's not just it. And he was like, really respectful. I appreciated his response. Even the girls, like, the way she handled it was very well.
Yeah.
And the guys comforted him, but respected the way she did it. The girls did too. She's like, we can be friends. I don't mind sleeping in the same bed with him, but like, it's just not there. I guess Hakeem and Liv talked the night before about breakfast. And she said that she was going to make him breakfast, and she doesn't.
Oh yeah. This is
Um,
where he's like, oh, she doesn't put forth much effort.
Right. So Hakeem's like kind of upset. And that's kind of the vibe we get from these three episodes. Like Hakeem is like feeling like Liv isn't really doing what she says. And then he ended up making breakfast. But I was like, maybe she's not ready because the girls stay in that makeup room for a while. So I was like, maybe she just wasn't ready. But I just was like, okay, this is interesting. But then he goes, she's invested in everybody else's drama, but she doesn't like, pay attention to me, I guess. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's kind of true though. Liv is like, what did he say? What do you do? Like, she is kind of into all of it. Like, from their vibes, I don't see a connection or a real spark there with either of them. Like, I think Hakeem really likes her, but it's kind of more of like a friendly vibe.
Yeah, no, I agree. It seems like they have some banter, but it's not anything like crazy. And she's just not interested in like really putting forth that much effort. She's
Yeah.
just not into him like that.
No. And then during the day we have the aftermath still of like Aaron and Kaylor. So Aaron is still upset. And then he kind of is talking to the guys like, I'm just gonna take a step back, whatever. And then Kaylor, the girls are all getting ready. And Kaylor's like, I guess I should just give him his space. And the girls are like, yeah. And then Hannah's
Yeah.
like, should I do that too? And they're like, no.
Kendall, he's very much butthurt still about the 50-50
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
He
So
just,
Aaron
yeah.
Yeah, so Aaron and Kendall are still in their feelings about what the girls
Hmm.
have done. Um, and obviously Caitlyn is very apologetic, but the
Yeah.
damage has been done. Both guys are like, let's see who's coming in this house.
Right. Who are these bombshells?
Who are these bombshells?
Which brings us to the lingerie party where we will be introduced to these two bombshells.
I
But Ariana shows
thought the
up.
concept was cute. Oh, and Ariana looked great.
She did. She stole the show. She looked
Hmm.
amazing. But yeah, because it was just like the which concept did you think was cute? The fact dressing up in lingerie or the
Yeah, I
handcuffs?
thought no, the handcuffs and everything. I was like, this is literally insane. Not insane. It was just like really good. I mean, as a TV production, the game, A1.
Yeah.
They did what they needed to do. They're like,
It
we're gonna
was
get under
awkward
everybody's
though.
skin. It was definitely awkward. So everyone looks great. They all and then Ariana comes in, she gives everybody a present. Inside
Mm-hmm.
the box is handcuffs or a blindfold, and they have to
Yes.
pick who gets handcuffed and who gets blindfolded. I didn't really write down who was doing what, but it's kind of a
No.
mix. Like some of the guys are blindfolded, some of the girls are blindfolded, some of the guys are handcuffed, some of the girls are handcuffed. It just depends in their
Yeah.
coupling.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And this
and
is where, oh, what?
yeah, no, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is where she's like, I brought friends. And it's the two new bombshells, which we got introduced to briefly on the After Sun. So it's
Hmm.
Andrea and Nicole. And they
Hmm.
enter with their lingerie and they're strutting, but only some can see them because again, some are blindfolded, some are just
Hmm.
handcuffed. And then Ariana basically is like, you know, you guys have been watching, like, you two need to kiss the man that you're liking. And this is where it gets so awkward and so intense because it's like Nicole goes first and she straddles and kisses Kendall. And
Hmm.
Hannah's just like next to them, like handcuffed,
She
having
like
to just be,
scooted over and was just
yeah.
like, all right. And she
And
kissed him for a
no,
while.
Nicole was into it. Like she was going
Very.
in.
She was.
It was
That was the longest kiss. And it was the first. I don't know if they like maybe added some time, but it felt like a long time.
Yeah, it was a lot and it was very passionate.
Very.
He was very into it as well. But then afterwards, she also goes for Cordell, which Serena's like, thank God, but also like this is awkward because she's like
Yeah.
right there. But I do
Yeah.
think it's funny that she's going for Kendall and Cordell, who are like the two besties.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if this is gonna influence their friendship because they're both obviously liked by the same girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so and Nicole kind of teased it at first. She walked past all of the guys. I think she even like maybe touched them or like they could just feel her moving.
Yeah.
And then she like pounced on Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
And then she pounced on Cordell. And I was like, okay, Nicole, very confident. Like, and that
Very.
the guys were just like, damn, like she did it like that. Like the guys were just really impressed. And honestly, so was
You were like, me too.
me too. That was intense.
Yeah, she took advantage of the moment. Andrea was a little more quick with it
Yeah.
in the kissing in and everything. She goes for Rob, and
Hmm.
he clearly like liked it. Like
Hmm.
the way he like looked at her after, and like it was just a very passionate moment. But then she
Hmm.
also goes for Aaron, and that one was very intense as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this game was messy, man. It did what it was supposed to. It was giving what it was supposed to give because it was supposed to be messy, kind of put people on their toes, and that's exactly what happened.
It did. And then I think that was pretty much it for episode 6.
Yeah.
I left
What
feeling very uncomfortable.
I was just like, "Oh my gosh, should I be watching this?"
Right? Is this allowed?
Yeah. And then so what were your initial impressions of well, I guess we'll know next episode, but I just wrote that Andrea's the blonde one, but she's Hispanic. So I don't think she's a natural blonde. No, there's no way.
Well, she looks like her hair, she dyes it.
Yeah, she's
So,
25. She's from Miami and she's a personal trainer.
mm-hmm.
Nicole is the brunette. She's 26.
And
She
she's
does
in them,
medical sales.
yes, she sells the skin grafts.
Yeah, and she used to be a personal trainer apparently. And I'm like, okay, so everybody's a personal trainer.
Everyone's into
Uh,
working out. Everyone used to be a personal trainer. That's
yeah.
the protocol.
So we go into
Um,
episode 7.
yes. And Andrea and Aaron are flirting, and Kaylor looks like a deer in headlights. Kaylor looks pissed this entire time, or not pissed, just like worried.
And so does Leah. Like during the kiss and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, Leah looked like very disgusted, very uncomfortable. So the girls are having their reactions.
Yes. And then Rob lets us know that he really enjoyed his kiss with Andrea, and that if she has a good personality, he's gonna have to keep talking to her.
Yeah.
And I did know I hate how the guys are in a position of power right
Yeah.
now. I don't enjoy this.
We'll
I
just
get
wait for
it.
the tables to turn again.
I know, and I get it because the girls were just in there, but it didn't feel as bad. Now with these like douchey fitness guys being like, "Oh, we'll see who we're gonna get," like, "Oh, no, no," and then the girls having to worry. I'm like, I don't like this. This feels wrong.
Yeah, I hate when the girls are like underhanded like that.
Hmm.
Um,
But
yeah, that was kind of it.
yeah, Nicole and Kendall go for a chat, and they seem to be vibing. Nicole seems nice, but I was questioning at first if she was like really into him. I think they're kind of a slow
Oh,
burn.
really?
Yeah, at first, but I don't know. It's like hard because I just think Kendall's so lame. that I'm kind of like, I don't know if
He
etiquette's like
is
really
lame.
into
When
him.
he's talking to somebody for the first time, I'm like, is it charming? No, but I mean, he's whatever. Like, it's not like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, Kendall's so nice or so this. It's just like whatever. But
Hmm.
I didn't. So they like have a couple things in common. I guess they both went to TCU. I'm assuming is no. He goes to TCU and she's like, oh my gosh, I love Southern football. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, he was like, I always wanted to go to a game or something like
That's what
that.
she said. Like, oh, my dad is from the South and I've always wanted to. So I don't know if like she's just trying to like, you know, find
Yeah.
a connection, but it didn't really seem very similar from this first talk. But Kendall like says like he feels like it's refreshing because all of his talks with Hannah have just been serious and stuff. And
Hmm.
he's just like, this is what I like just vibing and getting to know somebody. So it's like, okay, so he's really feeling her. Um,
Yes, he's ready for something new. I did
yeah.
write. I think Aaron and Andrea have they have very good banter because they go to
Yeah.
chat next, and I think they very much have chemistry when they're like speaking.
Yeah, I definitely
Hmm.
see that too. She's excited because he speaks a little Spanish. I guess he was
Hmm.
born in some part or raised in some part of a Spanish speaking part of Europe.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if he said Spain exactly, but he says she's perfect, she's gorgeous, she's his type. Kayla is scared. And then he tells her basically that he tells Andrea that he's open, like he's wanting to
Yeah.
explore the things, and so they know.
Yeah.
Before this, though, the girls sit down before they kind of like all after the game is over, the girls sit down with the new girls and they're like, so tell us about yourself, whatever. And the
Yeah.
girls kind of tell them, like, well, Rob is locked in with Leah. And then I think they said Kaylor was locked in with Aaron. So they like let them know,
Yeah.
but that didn't deter anything.
Well, no, these bombshells, they're not. I mean, and also like if they're gonna vibe with someone, it's gonna be someone in a couple, but they kind of, Andrea specifically seems to be targeting the strong couples. She's like,
Yeah.
I like them. I like Rob and Aaron.
Yeah, that's true because Hannah's not really upset. Like she
No.
knows she might lose him, but she's not really upset. But Leah, like the Andrea's one going for Aaron and Rob, who are very attached to their partners, Leah and Taylor. And so you kind of pick the people that are just like, especially Leah. Leah and Rob really haven't had any problems. Things have been well, from my point of view, because apparently Rob sees problems.
Yeah.
Um, but they were really locked in, like they were really good. And even Rob says himself, like, it's gonna take a lot because he talks to her later and he talks to Andrea first. We can go through that. He puts the
Yes.
blindfold on while he's talking to her.
Yeah, I
And I'm
noted
like,
that
Rob, you're
too.
so corny.
I will say I wrote down too when Aaron and Andrea were talking, Kaylor was like freaking out, and I missed who said it, but some guy said to her, "You do this every time." And I was like, at least they know.
Not, at least they know. Not them pointing it out too. That's
Um,
funny.
yeah. But yeah, Andre and Rob are chatting. I wrote that he seems really nervous. And Leah's like freaking out because they're laughing. And Janae just goes, Rob's a funny guy. And Leah's like, no, he's not.
He's not though.
And
He's
I was
not. And
like,
I'm like, good, yes, tell them. The girls are really trying to comfort her. They're like, girl, he's so locked in with you. You're gonna be
mm-hmm.
fine. And it uh,
And it's just like,
we'll
I
see.
don't think so. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he's just basically him and Andrea are pretty much vibing, and he just looks smitten, and he's essentially just reiterating like the door's not shut.
Yeah.
But I think at this time he's kind of maintaining like, me and Leah are strong,
Yeah.
but I'm still open.
Yeah, he says he's open and they just kind of talk about different things, similarities and stuff. And at this point, I agree. I think Rob is kind of conflicted and he's wondering, like, because I think in his confessional, he's like, dang, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. That kiss was so good. I'm in trouble. I'm
Yeah.
in trouble. I'm in trouble. So, yeah.
Yes. And then Nicole and Cordell chat. And
Hmm.
I don't think Cordell is good at flirting.
Cordell's not great at flirting. He has
No.
zero risk. I wrote that the conversation's kind of stale. Like,
Yes. He's like, what's your nationality? And he's like, and she's like, what do you think? And he's like, God damn, that's all I think. And I'm like, what? What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
I think she thought it was funny because she was like, "Oh,
She did.
like
You know,
ick,
she
ick."
seems she's being nice.
No, she
Uh,
likes him. Like
yeah.
from this first thing, there's nothing that like turns her off. But now we kind of see what Serena was talking about. Like he is
Hmm.
kind of stale. He does kind of just say stuff like,
Yeah.
"What's
He
my
d
nationality?" You know, like even
God
that. Like
damn.
it's like, but I asked you a question. Like
It's
I don't know.
like
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I get
No.
what Serena was saying though.
Oh, yeah, I
Bro, it just
understand.
I hate how this looks right now. It's just this big white light.
Oh,
It's
Maggie. It looks like you're coming from heaven, Maggie.
I think that's better. I was like, how did you can't even it's so bright outside that it's just come and I don't know how because maybe I need to put my
It's okay. I've decided that I'm in a new set for the YouTube watchers. You can see no one's home, so I'm utilizing the office area so I didn't have to like set up a lot. And I hate it because the lighting sucks and I feel like I look high. So we won't be
Yeah,
reusing it, but I'm committed and we're on a time crunch. So we got to keep it,
we
but
gotta keep it.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, but
Nicole says
Serene,
the kiss was good though with Cordell. She really liked
oh
it.
yeah.
He said he was talking to the guys. He was like, "Yeah, that kiss was good. Her lips are so soft. I bit them." And I was like,
Oh my God, okay.
"Okay."
All right, Cordell.
Gross, Cordell. You're so gross. But he's cute. Like I see why someone would find Cordell charming. He has his
I
own
agree.
quirky personality. I'm just kind of seeing it through Serena's eyes. He's a nice guy. I think out of the guys, Cordell is the nicest, sweetest, like most thoughtful guy.
Yeah,
But he is a little corny in some moments.
very. Yeah,
But
so
he's
much
very
so.
much himself. Like he's
Yeah,
corny, but it's not like he's awkward corny. Like he's just being himself. That's just how he is, you know?
that's true. And Serena's just basically like, I like being single, even if it means I go home, I'm Rio. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Serena.
Yeah.
Um, Kaylor tells Aaron it's hard seeing him with Andrea. Everything's hard for Kaylor, but I get it. Um, Rob says to Leah he'll talk to Andrea again, but that the connection is still stronger with Leah. And
Yeah.
Leah is clearly very pissed, which I questioned Rob's ability to pick up on social cues or like read emotions because he often says, Leah, you're just so cool. Like you get it.
Yeah, and
And
it's
it's like
like,
clearly she doesn't, and she doesn't like
yeah.
it. So
He's like,
what?
Leah's smart. She's smart. She knows that. And it's like, don't you also you met her a week ago. So don't
Hmm.
assume you know anything. Don't assume anything. Just be direct about how you feel. And
Yeah.
like in this moment he is saying like, yeah, I want to explore things. She is nice, you know, but like I just feel like he gives Leah too much credit in the sense that he feels like things can go uncommunicated and I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I agree. And then basically I did write randomly. I think Andrea is very pretty. I was just like looking at her face, I was like, it's very symmetrical. She has great skin. I'm like, I don't know. Maggie's like,
Yeah.
anyways.
I'm like trying to remember her face.
Oh, but
They're pretty. I just didn't
yeah, they both are.
they're both pretty. They're both very
They're both
attractive.
bombshells.
Would yeah. That's all. Man, they're cute.
She's like,
Eh,
anyways,
eh.
um, it's the next day, and Connor and Andrea go for a chat that doesn't really go anywhere, but like throughout it, Janae is like sexy stretching, and I
I
thought that
thought
was
that
really
was
funny.
She's like, oh my gosh, what should I do, guys? Should I stretch over here? Leah's like, yeah. And like
Sh-
I love Leah. Leah's just trying to like help
She's
Janae
like,
out.
yeah, keep doing it.
And she's like, oh, he's not looking at her. Oh, he is looking at her. I'm like, you both are so messy. Uh,
They're funny. But yeah, ultimately their chat goes nowhere, and Andrea is very much holding to she is into Aaron and Rob. Like
yeah.
those are the two.
Well, Connor makes it clear. He's like, I'm really locked in with Janae. He
He
tells her
did.
that. He's like, I'm really locked in with Janae. We have a really good thing going. And he doesn't really give Andrea the time of day, which
Mm-hmm.
is what you should do. If you are really locked in with a person, you want to keep
That
talking
part.
to them. He made
Yeah.
himself unavailable. And she left saying, oh, Connor's really locked in with you. And and that kind of pissed Leah off because she's like, why doesn't Rob do that? We are really
Yeah.
locked in. Like, why is he even open to the idea? Because you can tell this girl no.
Yeah, this is where Leah's picking up on. She's like, anytime a girl talks to another guy, they come back being like, oh, he's so into like his couple or whatever. But that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen when anyone talks to Rob. For whatever reason,
Yeah.
when you talk to Rob, they think like they have a chance and they look at Leah like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Leah has this theme where she just doesn't want to feel stupid, and she like pulls him aside and tells him this. She's like, whenever people talk to you, they feel good about you and stuff. And he's like, what do you mean? Are you upset? And they're like throwing a ball and stuff while she's saying this, and I just feel like he didn't hear anything she said. He was not listening to her, and like, yeah,
No.
maybe you should have pulled him aside, but like, he's like, oh, they almost throw a ball. It almost hits Leah. He catches it and he's like, are you guys okay? And I'm like, Rob, you're not listening to her. Like, she's trying to say something to you, but then they just kind of let it go. And I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
Leah,
And
I
he
wish you pulled him aside.
I agree, but he's holding to that he'll always be honest with Leah. Like he'll never put her like leave her in the dark or like blindside her, which not to get ahead, but I'll foreshadow that I think he did the ultimate blindside
I agree.
in episode 8 to where I was like yelling at my TV. But we'll get to that shortly.
Yeah, I mean, so he says basically to her that he's gonna let her know if he's gonna choose someone else. And nobody wants to feel like a second choice. Like, that's not very reassuring. If he was like, oh, I'm gonna talk to her and, but I'm really feeling you more. But he's basically telling her he's on the fence, which is fair, I guess, but like, nobody wants to hear that. Like, I understand why she's upset. And I honestly feel like at that point, she should have just been like, okay, well, then I'm good with you. I'm good. I'm fine with you then. We can move on.
Yeah, she should have, but I think she was like, since he was like our connection's stronger and he was like clouding it in, I'm just open, like I'm just seeing, like maybe she was like, okay, maybe there's a chance, but slowly but surely. I think after this next part is where she really like kind of decides she kind of wants to put the brakes on it because they get a
Yeah.
text and it's like Nicole and Andrea, you're gonna go on a date. Pick your guy. And Andrea, of course, picks Rob. And then
Mhm.
Nicole picks Cordell first.
Yeah.
Because they go on 2 dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, she picks Cordell first to take on a date. And then Leah's mad at Andrea because she heard them making out all night, but still picked Rob. So she's
Yeah.
she's feeling like Andrea's not respecting the relationship.
Yeah, no, Leah's face, body language, it says it all. Like, she's giving Andrea dirty looks when she comes by. Like, Leah's just had it.
Yes. And this is where I did right. I was like, okay, Leah, do you know what show you signed up for? Because although I get it, I'm kind of like, okay, but like
No, I mean,
they're gonna go on like they're interested. So I'm sure they're gonna like there's gonna be dates and there's gonna be like some stuff. I'm not fully, but at that point I'm like, yeah, she's like
yeah.
she's into him. They're gonna go on a date. Like doesn't mean anything's gonna
Yeah.
happen, but like when they're like, oh, go on a date with ultimately 2 people, and the only 2 people
Yeah.
she kissed and are into are Rob and Aaron, she's gonna go on a date with a Rob and Aaron.
Yeah, I feel conflicted about Leah this morning, because the morning that this is all happening, because like on one end I understand her feelings. You were very locked in with Rob. They were the strongest couple. He's always touching you. You guys are making out, you're in bed together, like you're having these intimate moments and an intimate connection with him, and you
Yeah.
feel like it's reciprocated. Then this girl walks in and he changes up. That would piss me off.
Yeah.
But you should also be aware, yes, that you're on a show where that happens and he tells you like, hey, I am gonna try to explore things with her, so like at that point
Yeah.
you kind of need to chill. But I think the other issue is everybody is so locked in with their persons that like they don't really talk outside of their couples. And so it also puts her in a weird spot.
Yeah, because then it's also like if she does like if Rob goes with her, like who is she gonna go with?
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
and then there's the part of like, oh, I want to stay on the show. So it's very
Right.
layered.
It's very layered,
Um,
yeah.
but they go on their dates and it's basically like they're like on the beach with like a towel and some food. It looks nice.
It
But
looks nice. I
Nicole and
think it's weird that one couple is facing another couple. And I'm like, why aren't you both
yeah,
just like facing the water or the other direction? Because, like, at one point you can see, like, so it's Rob and Andrea, and then Cordell and Nicole behind. And at one
yeah.
point they do something and they're like whooping and like commenting. And I'm like, you should have your own view and your own privacy. Like, I just
No.
thought it was weird how they were, but it was a cute setup.
Yeah. I wonder, not to get on the production side, but they probably wanted the water in the shot. I'm
Yeah.
like, how can we get the most scenic shot? See the water, and then maybe the lighting was just better, you
Yeah, no,
know?
it was so bright
And they
that it
like to
starts to
make it
rain and you
awkward
can't really
too.
even see the rain.
Yeah. Was it raining, really? I didn't even
Yeah, at one
notice.
point it starts to rain. What do you mean they make it awkward?
Well, it's just like I feel like it's awkward, like everything's just so close with everyone. Like the sleeping, the beds are like 2 inches apart.
Oh,
And now with
yeah.
his dates, it's like look at each other while we are
Yeah.
on this intimate date and we're all gonna make out.
Yeah, it's weird. But like where Rob and Andrea are placed is they can't see the people behind them. So I'm just like, why did you do that? If y'all were facing each other, it'd be one thing. But they
Yeah.
intentionally had it so one couple could see another. And I'm like, it's weird. But there are flowers, there's champagne, there's fruit, cheese, I think, meat and cheese and stuff. So like
Yeah.
they do up their little dates.
They do.
Cordell's outfit looks nice. Cordell
Cordell
stepping
can
out.
dress.
Rob looked no like ordinary,
He wore like a
bland,
teal shirt or
a
something.
teal polo, and I was like, "So you're going to the golf course? Cute." He wears these Nikes
You're
a
going to
lot.
Bahama Breeze. Got it.
Well, now I just want to troll Rob because he's my least favorite dude.
You know,
I'm like,
fuck
change your
Rob.
shoes, Rob. How many pairs of shoes you brought? Boots and a pair of Nikes. That's it.
That's
No.
it, Rob. Loser.
But Cordell's shoes were nice. His whole fit, he changed it up. He looked really nice.
Cordell always
Um,
has some nice clothes on. Again, I liked his first day outfit.
yeah,
But Nicole and Cordell, they're cute. They hit it off. They have a makeout
yeah,
moment. Like it's all sweet. I did
yeah.
write, and like I find it interesting. I felt like Rob and Andrea only really had like a physical connection. Like it was
That's
clear like
valid.
when they're making out, like they're into it, but when they're like talking, it's kind of like whatever, you
Yeah,
know?
because what do they really talk about? Like, not much. They don't really have a lot. Earlier, he says he likes writing, and she's like, "Oh, me too." But like writing things and reading, I guess. And I was like, "When have you been a writer, Rob?" Anyway,
Yeah. They just talk
um,
about being open to connecting.
yeah, that's valid. I agree with that's a good observation, Brandon. I think that yeah.
Thank you.
No, I didn't consider that, but you're right. It does seem more of just like a sexual chemistry, and that's it.
Hmm.
Cause he was like she was wearing this like crochet like outfit, and he's like, all of a sudden I'm really interested in crochet. Like I think he just likes how she looks a lot, but there's no
Yeah.
depth in like unless there is and we haven't seen it. But from the conversation,
Unless
I
we're
don't really
missing
see.
something, but I
Yeah,
don't know if we are.
we might be
Um,
missing their similarities. I don't see anything y'all have in common. This boy is from the country. He catch snakes in different countries. You're from Miami, girl, and you're an ex-personal trainer.
and she doesn't, I don't think, share the love of animals. I
No.
don't think.
Yeah, because he says something about golden retrievers later, and she's like, yeah, we could get one. It's very much like, I'll adopt your lifestyle, but
Right.
not like we have similar lifestyles.
It seems to be, this is also foreshadowing for a take I have. It seems to be she just likes to say yes a lot, and Rob likes that. Anyways, Kendall gets a text to meet Nicole for a date, and Aaron does as well to meet Andrea.
Oh, wait. I will just say for Nicole and Cordell's date, like I'm trying to figure out what they're bonding over. They're both competitive.
Oh yeah, I wrote that. It was
Um,
like sports and being competitive. It's kind of like,
yeah.
okay.
The conversation is like she can't tell she in her confessional she says she can't tell if he likes her, but he she says she really liked the kisses and stuff. So like
Yeah.
I guess this does feel like more of a I think this is more of a physical connection as well and not really any depth.
I agree. It's an interesting setup with the two bombshells and then who they ultimately end up picking.
Yeah.
Although with Andrea, she really only had one choice, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yes, I did write though that when Cordell and Nicole kiss, I thought it looked like she didn't like it, but then she was like, I liked it. So I was like, okay. So I guess she is into it.
Yeah.
She's just always smiling. It's hard to read if it's like a polite smile or
Yeah.
like a
I think after this, we should
genuine.
break down how we feel about them because I haven't really thought about it. But now that we're talking about it, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
who are these girls?
Who are they? But Kendall and Aaron, they get the text, like I said before, and
Taylor
Kayla,
gets mad because, oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
just about to say the same that Aaron doesn't kiss her goodbye. And she's like, what the hell? Like, I just feel like Aaron didn't
Man.
kiss me goodbye. She always looks like she's staring. Like she always looks like she's like one blink away from a tear.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. She's constantly on the verge of tears.
yeah, such
Um,
low-key
and
mood, but
Kendall and Aaron did not hide their excitement. So I get it, girl. I get it. Like they're
yeah,
both
they
like,
didn't.
yeah, oh yeah, you too. And then they get dressed and leave. Like you both are annoying. I
They
liked
are.
Kendall's outfit.
I'm like
Um,
blanking on their outfits for some
Kendall
reason.
wore like a two piece and it was like cream colored two
Okay, I
piece. It
think
was a
I
button
kind
up
of
with some
okay.
shorts
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he wore it with some low top chucks that
Oh,
were
not
white.
you. You're like, I got the socks, the shoes, the
No,
sandals,
he
the fit.
when I saw
Um,
his outfit, I just registered. I was like, that's a cute. I
I was
like
like,
that.
all
I
right,
like his style.
Kendall.
I was like, okay, Kendall can dress, but Aaron looked very ordinary. He wore a black shirt and some
Oh yeah, he
khakis,
did.
and I'm like, are you going to Sunday school?
Maybe so.
uh,
But this is where before they get there, Rob does tell Andrea, he tries to say, if you want a connection, you got your work cut out for yourself because Lee and I are so strong. But
yeah.
then they kiss, and it's very clear he likes it a lot,
Hmm.
and she's like really into him.
Yeah. And I almost feel like I bet she likes him a little more because it's like, ooh, I gotta chase you. I gotta get you.
Right.
Because, ooh, Brandon, I'm making connections, Brandon.
Ooh,
Earlier, she says that she is usually interested in emotionally unavailable men. And
did she say that?
she did in their first talk. She's like, I usually go for those who are emotionally unavailable. Let me make sure that that wasn't Nicole. But yeah,
Um,
that's what she told him in one of their first conversations. Because she's like, I haven't had many boyfriends, blah, blah, blah. I
oh, I
go for
think that
those who
is
are,
her. No, it was her because she said that her last boyfriend was like her high school boyfriend or something like that.
yeah. And he
So
was
that
like,
was
how old
her.
are you? And she's like, 25. And he's like, oh, high
Yeah.
school? And she's like, yeah, I was very off and on. I really liked was she the one who said she really liked his family?
I think so. Or no, Nicole
That was
said at
Nicole?
one point that she stayed with someone for their family. Or no, Kendall said he stayed with his ex for the family. And Nicole's like, I've done that before too.
Yeah.
And but
Yeah, it was Andrea. She says she goes for guys who are emotionally unavailable. So I wonder if this is her kind of just again falling for her type. Not in the sense
oh
that he's
yeah,
emotionally unavailable because I don't know, like they haven't had an emotional moment. But
that's
like
true.
I feel like she chases things because it's fun to chase. Right? Like
Yes.
I know you like Leah, so I wonder if that's kind of like her MO here. Like, oh, I have to compete. Okay, well, let me put my shoes on. Like
Yes.
I wonder.
And then it's interesting because at one point she said something like, I like Rob because he seems to be respectful about Leah and like he's being so
Yeah.
nice. And it's like, okay, but like when if he's willing to pursue you, even though he's a strong, respectful connection with someone else, shouldn't that be indicative that he will do that to you too?
Yeah, and that maybe he's not so respectful. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I guess it is because on the surface, that's what it seems like. But
Yeah.
his behavior isn't matching up. He's like, I want to respect her, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, you're being really intimate with this new girl. You're not spending like, we'll get into it. We'll get
Yeah.
into it.
But Kendall and Aaron join them for their dates, and I just write that Kendall was so corny.
Kendall was
And
so
he,
hyped. He's like, "Oh, you like Marvel? I like Marvel
yes, they bond about being nerds and loving video games and all that.
movies."
But I did right.
Oh
They seem to
yeah.
have something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you, I mean, it seemed like there was a childhood game that they both played and they were both like, you don't know that game. Oh my gosh, you know that game. So I guess like when you find someone attractive and you start seeing these common interests, it makes it better. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I get it too. And then Andre and Aaron, again, like I said before, I feel like they have like fire in like their conversation. Like they're very like they can go back and forth. They seem to kind of have maybe the same humor. Like they have that connection.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it their kiss was passionate. So it's funny because I feel
Yeah.
like with Andrea, she's very physically connected with Rob, but more
Mm-hmm.
emotionally connected to Aaron.
Yeah.
And then maybe kind of the same with Nicole. She's physical with Cordell, but then more emotionally with Kendall, even though I think Kendall, there's a little bit of physical as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then that's why it's interesting who they pick towards the
Yeah.
end and like what direction they decide to go with.
Yeah. No, it is. And
Hmm.
it's funny. I noted that when Nicole was talking to Kendall, she's like, "So how are you with Hannah?" And she's like, "I know about the 50-50 thing." And I'm like, "Of
Oh yeah.
course you do. Of
Everyone knows
course
about the
you do.
50-50.
Look, 50-50 will be on Kendall's grave."
No,
I'm
it
like,
will. We should spam everyone spam his comments on Instagram and like
50-50,
TikTok.
50-50,
50-50,
50-50.
50-50.
And I'm like, of course she knows about the 50 thing. And he's like, yeah, we're in a rocky spot, you know. She just kind of did some things I didn't like. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Kendall,
Oh my
get
God.
over it.
How much you want to bet that when this situation, like the show ends, him and Hannah are going to be in a good place and they're going to decide to try and start a podcast called 50-50.
I wonder. See, Hannah has the emotional disconnection, I guess, or maturity to be like, oh yeah, that'd be funny, let's do it. But Kendall will be like,
Yeah.
no, can't be in the same
He'd
space.
be like, but
Room,
let's talk about
no.
how that affected me when you said that. And it's like, oh my gosh.
I wonder if I'm being biased now because like when the guys are like overly emotional, it gives me the ick, but like I can understand, I can sympathize with the girls' emotions more. So like I don't know, maybe I'm being a little biased, but I just feel like she said sorry, she explained what it was, but Kendall really like took it to heart. And if like this kiss with Hakeem was so romantic and stuff, and like they were obviously into it, like your kiss with Nicole, I would be like, okay, I get it, but it
Yeah.
wasn't that deep, you know?
Yeah, the thing with the girls, even though I don't know about Kaylor, it seems like when something happens, they'll like apologize and they get it, and then they kind of won't do it again. Well, Hannah kind of did, but I don't
Yeah.
know. It seems just like what they're saying is honest, whereas with at least Rob, it's very like wishy-washy and he's not being honest. And with
Yeah.
Kendall, he's just still, he's not even stuck on the kiss, he's stuck on the 50-50 comment. And it's like, okay, like relax. She picked you
Yeah.
and you're not even
Yeah.
into her anymore.
You're
But
not. And isn't that interesting? I wonder if that's a little bit of the misogyny of it all because like we need to change our podcast. The misogyny of it
the
all.
misogyny of it all.
Because like once a girl like shows interest in another guy, which is natural, especially on this show, you go into a fit. You have a, you know, and then she's immediately not attractive to you anymore. Whereas
Yeah.
the girls, they will still like they kind of I feel like a little not Kaylor, but they're a little more understanding. The guys are like, "Oh, you want someone else? Oh.
I can't
Aaron
believe this.
even does this later." So I'm like, this
Yeah.
is interesting.
How could you be into someone else? Like, what is
Yeah.
this?
What
But then you have
attracted
Rob being like, you get it. It's a
50-50.
part of the experience and all this. It's like,
And Leah's
gosh,
like,
go
I
to hell,
don't get
Rob.
it. It's yeah. I'm not saying that they are always like that, but I feel like the girls, yeah, they're not always like, you know, I don't even know what I was trying to say anymore. Let's move.
They seem to be a little more understanding,
Yes.
at least.
Yes, in some moments. Sometimes they get upset, but they are a little more understanding. But the guys, as soon as the guy sees that a girl is interested in someone else, they cut her off
They're like,
immediately.
she's tainted. How could she?
How could
She
she?
should only like me and have been with
Exactly.
me.
That part.
It's
Except
like, all
for
right.
Cordell. Cordell is like the only level-headed.
Right.
I like Cordell.
I do too. I think though, I feel like Connor would be
Yeah,
respectful.
Connor's more level-headed
Connor
too.
seems nice.
Yeah. Kendall, Aaron, Rob, they've got some fragile egos. Hakeem, they've got some fragile egos. Even
Walking like
Hakeem,
Connor.
oh my gosh. Hakeem is the best example of this, Brandon, because as soon as Hannah picked Kendall, Hakeem got mad, started talking about her.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? His ego was so bruised, and it's like
You said 50-50. And it's like,
this is
exactly.
this is a dating show, and all of his interest for Hannah went away, you know? So
Yeah.
it is the misogyny of it
He's
all.
like, it's zero now.
And
And it's
it's
like,
like, all
okay.
right, okay,
All
well,
right,
I guess keep
Hakeem.
yelling at me in this public forum. That's fine. That's fine.
Um, with this episode, it pretty much I wrote that it kind of ended with the dates and like Cordell's very giddy after his date. Rob is
Yeah.
clearly into Andrea, and
Yeah.
Nicole says she was really into Cordell's kiss.
Yeah.
So,
Nicole liked, and then I said Andrea liked Rob's kiss more. Her connection is stronger with him. She says that they look good together, or somebody else I think maybe Nicole tells her, like, oh, you guys look really good together.
mhm.
So yeah, I noted those things as well. And this is kind of where it ends. And then Rob is just like, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Kendall said he liked the kiss with Andrea. So we'll see.
Yeah. And that's where we get to episode 8.
Episode 8.
And this is, this is where a lot goes down. I had thought someone was gonna go home because I saw on
Me
Twitter
too.
people were like, "Oh, someone's going home," or like some
Yeah.
description, and it's like, spoiler alert, no one goes home, which
No
I
one goes home.
appreciated because I didn't really
Same.
want anyone to go home.
I think I was like, is there a limit to how many? There's a lot of people in this house
There
now.
is. I'm
Because
like,
there's 8 girls now and 6 guys, I think. Is it 6?
I think so. You know what? Probably I would imagine someone goes home maybe every Friday because then the after sun's on Saturday. Just thinking of like how last time
Oh,
Koi was on the
logistics.
after sun, so I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's like before that, and then it's like they go on there.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah. I just figured maybe someone would today as well because Wednesday's the off day. So it makes
Yeah.
sense that it would be kind of like the end,
Yeah.
but maybe not. I guess they're treating the after sun as the end. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
But
But are there 6 guys? It's Rob.
Connor, Hakeem, Rob, Aaron, Cordell, Kendall. Yes.
Okay, so there's
Six
8 girls
guys.
now and 6 guys. It just feels like the house is there's a lot of people there. And I was like,
There
are you guys gonna
is.
bring because how many people go home at a time? Like I feel like they have to bring at least one bombshell guy in or two, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Do they have enough beds?
Well, that part. Well,
How many beds are in the bedroom?
if they don't want to be in the bed, like in this episode, they can sleep somewhere else like Leah and Serena did.
Oh, Serena's a real one. Let's go through it.
She is. I have Nicole and Andrea are talking to the girls about their dates,
Yeah.
and Andrea reveals she kissed Rob,
Hmm.
and Leah's upset and trying not to be petty. And this is also worth noting because Rob had said, I think he told this to Andrea, like, I want to tell Leah first about the kiss.
He says it to Andrea and he says it to Nicole and Cordell, who can see that they made out. He was like, all right, let me announce this myself.
Yes.
And so she does it
She
instead.
does it. I wonder what the how much time was in between all of that because maybe
Yeah.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in this one instance. I'm like maybe there just wasn't a moment
Yeah.
and then the chat with the girls happened first.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe.
And I noted
Um
that Hannah's not here for some reason. It's just a couple of the girls with
oh yeah.
Andrea and Nicole, and Andrea and Nicole are recapping the dates.
I think this is where Kendall I think this must be the same time Kendall's talking to Hannah. I think and he's like telling
Yeah.
him
They're
about
talking.
his date with Nicole. And
Yeah.
he's honest about the kiss. She's glad about that. But it just seems like they don't have like a connection anymore.
Yeah. She wasn't mad, but he was just like, yeah, this is what it is. Later on, I don't think it matters to say it now, but later on, she's like, he doesn't kiss me anymore. He doesn't hug me
Yeah.
anymore. He sleeps on the opposite side of the bed. So I think Kendall was like really pulling away from Hannah.
Yeah, they look so awkward compared to the other couples when you see them sleeping because the other couples are like at least kind of cuddling or like kind of facing each other, whereas they're just like opposite sides, just like
Yeah, you know what's
and I'm like, ooh,
interesting? Ooh, something to note. the day before the day when Rob meets Andrea, he still sleeps in the bed with Leah and they make out. Like you see they're doing something. They show a clip of them and they were being physical, intimate
Yeah.
in some way. So it's important to note that. So even
Mm-hmm.
after he met Andre, or like after he met Andre, he was still being physical with Leah.
He was. And Nicole and Cordell have a little moment. He gives her a tattoo tour. And this is
Mm-hmm.
where, because he has Nicole, the name, tattooed on him because of his aunt.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of have like a sweet, intimate moment. He explains like his butterfly tattoos for his grandma, and she wanted
Yeah.
it on his hand because it's like, when I die, I'll be reincarnated into a butterfly and I'm gonna land there. I'm like, that was sweet.
It was sweet. And then Hannah and Nicole in her confessional was like, I wasn't really listening. It was just kind of nice to fill up on him. And I was like, oh my gosh, Nicole, you're missing it. He's
I
a
know, right?
sincere guy.
And she's like, he's just
Yeah.
hot.
She's like, I just liked touching him and stuff because he like took his shirt off kind of like halfway for the tour and stuff. And all
Yeah.
of his tattoos are really deep, but I feel like she was just like, he's cute. Oh my gosh, I touched his chest.
He's hot. Is he Odell Beckham's brother? No, I don't
Yeah,
think
he
she
didn't
knows
mint.
that at this
I don't
point.
think
Well,
she
maybe
knows.
someone told her, but I don't know. At least she hasn't said it,
Nobody seems to care.
which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, which is very good.
I did okay. Aaron's I don't understand Aaron and Kaylor because like they like each other, but he says like the rudest shit. He's
He's
like,
so rude to her.
the thing about Andrea is unlike you, she's very level-headed and knows what she wants. And I'm like,
Brandon, he
damn.
says she's better at things than you. And
Yes.
Taylor's like, what? And then he says those things. And I was like, that's a rude way to say it. And then Taylor didn't cry and get upset well, she cries about other things, but
There's something else because
she
she
didn't cry
feels
about
like
that.
she's the only one honest about how she feels, and he doesn't say how he feels. And I'm like, I feel like you both are. I don't know. It's just weird. They're very
I mean,
emotional.
I understand the level-headedness.
Yeah.
Yes, because Taylor does cry a lot, and it's kind of hard to like after
Deal
a
with that.
while, it's hard to like you can't really properly communicate with someone who's always in tears. Like you need to compose yourself, express how you feel, like and
Yeah.
because the emotions add a different layer of whatever. So I get the level-headedness. And then he said she knows what she wants. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, that's where she's got you beat, Taylor.
Yeah.
Um
Um,
and then she starts crying and she's like, I really like you and I don't know how to feel and and he's like, well, he just is looking at her and he's like, I don't want to make her feel bad, but like I like
maybe it'd be easy if I just didn't push any buttons and I'll just stay with her. And it's like, all right.
Did he
I
say
don't know.
that?
He said something like that. And I think in like
Oh.
his talking head thing, it was
Mm,
something like, oh, like I don't want to make her like emotional or I don't want to like cause anything. But then that he's still kind of open.
mm.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, well, then maybe don't tell her, oh, this girl I'm talking to, she's so much better than you in
She's
so
better
many
than you.
ways.
She's better than you. It's like not better.
Right. Rob and Leah have their first chat. And it goes quote unquote well.
Yeah.
She
It's
says
short.
he opens up about the kiss. She says she heard. He says, "Oh my God, by who?" And she's like Andrea, and she's like, "Okay, yeah." And then Leah's kind of trying to play it cool, but it's clear that she's not okay. And this is where he's like, "You're just so cool, like you get it, like you understand." And I'm like, "You're
Yeah.
not very perceptive," because she's
You
clearly wanting to crawl out of her skin and like punch you in the face.
Yeah, and it's like he's not really reading the room. He's not really noticing. He's happy. He's basically happy that she's cool with it. And he's like, "All right, you're cool. You're cool." And then they
Yeah,
kind of just stop talking. And I think this is weird because like I get it. She's not saying anything. She is saying one thing. She's obviously behaving a different way to us, but he doesn't notice that. And I do wish that she was just a little more direct here, but I think she's also trying to just play it cool, be
yeah.
normal.
She's trying not
Um
to like cause too much of a scene
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
start a fight, but
Yeah.
that doesn't last too long, thankfully. Um Nicole and Kendall talk, they vibe. I
Yeah.
wrote not as much with Cordell, but she does seem to like him. She thinks he has a nice confidence, which I think is just again corniness. But
I think he's
um
confident.
he's confident,
I
but
see
I'm
it.
just like, yeah. But this is where they seem to like very much like vibe mentally. Like very much they have conversation, like they're able to like communicate well. It seems like that. Whereas with Cordell again, it seems a little more physical. Like he tries to get deep and she's like, "You're hot."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Cordell is like saying enough or expressing himself enough, which is again what I think Serena was saying. Like he's kind of like hard to like there's no depth
Yeah.
in that area.
But Leah, Andre and Rob go to talk, and she's basically like,
Again.
I just didn't want our date to end. Like, oh my gosh, like it was just like so amazing. Like da 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 da. Da.
Yeah.
And Leah's spiraling. She's like, I just feel stupid. And I feel like if I have to like fight for someone, or like if someone has to like debate whether they want me or someone else, then they're not for me.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
which
I'm
is valid.
facts.
100% valid, girl.
This is
She
very
says she
true.
feels embarrassed. She's like, I'm being too nice. Because I think what she did in the first conversation, she was like really censoring herself, censoring
Hmm.
her feelings. But she
Yeah.
actually does feel a type of way.
Oh
And
yeah. And this is where Liv
yeah.
is like, why are you telling us this? Go up and tell him. Like, why? What
Yeah.
use is this? You gotta do this. And I'm like, yes,
And
Liv.
again, I'm like, Liv, we talked about this last podcast, but I'm like, last podcast episode, but I'm like, Liv, you mean well, but sometimes you do a little like, because her default was Leah's default was to just be chill, to be calm, and Liv is
Hmm.
like, no, no, you're a baddie. Go up, tell him, go tell him, go talk, go interrupt. Because I guess Rob and Andrea are talking for a long time.
Yeah, apparently like 2 hours or something.
I was
And it's
like,
funny,
so
I was talking to Gia last night and she
yeah.
said that she thought Liv was like a production plant. And I was like, oh my gosh, we kind of said the same thing. We were like, she's very much there to like, she knows
Yeah.
the assignment. She's trying to create good TV.
Hey, you're not wrong. Ooh,
Yeah.
Gia's onto something. That's true because that's what a production member would say. Go tell him that then.
Yes.
Don't tell me. Go tell him that. You know, like
Right.
they want the tea on the
They want the
like on
scene.
recorded. Yeah.
She also said that Kendall gives corporate sales. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we said he has office humor.
Yeah, dad jokes and stuff. That's
Dad
funny.
jokes.
But like Rob and Andrea are just talking. I think this is where she tells him that that she would go and catch snakes with him and stuff. And I was like, no, you wouldn't, girl. You
Right.
lying. And this is when he like catches a bug and like
She's clearly like, get that fucking bug away from me. But she's like, sure, you can put it on me. And
I
then it
was
like
like, the fact
crawls
that
on
she
his head.
participated, maybe that is actually how she feels. But I'm like, Andrea, you want to live with bugs and snakes?
He literally has that bug crawling on his hair.
And it jumped, yeah,
You
it
want
jumped on
this?
his
You need
what was
this?
it? A spider? What was it?
I don't think it was a spider. It looked like it flew. I don't
I don't know.
know.
It's some egg
They're in
exotic
Fiji. I
bug
feel
from
like there's
Fiji.
different insects there.
Yeah, and so he's like calmly like playing with the bug with her, trying to get her comfortable, and he was like, "That was a test. I wanted to see if you would be comfortable." And I'm like, "Oh gosh." Anyway, I just don't
Uh,
like Rob anymore. And sorry, Andrea, you're associated with Rob, so
hmm.
uh,
But this is where Leah's like, "Hi, lovebirds. Can I like have a chat with you, Rob?" And he's like, "Do you want me to come or her?" And she's like, "Well, I'm not trying to talk to her, so obviously you." And I'm like, "Ooh, she's
yeah,
coming with the energy."
she had some stuff to get off her
Because
chest.
her thing too, she's like, after you had a date, we talk briefly, and then you go off with her again for like 2 hours.
Hours, yeah. And
So
so
she's
that's
like,
what she was
clearly
upset.
you're more into her than you're letting me know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. She
And
says
then,
she doesn't want to get her feelings hurt.
oh yeah,
And that's when he was like, well,
someone's gonna get their
someone's,
feelings hurt. Someone's gonna get their feelings hurt.
and
The
then
thing
she
about the
gets upset.
show, someone's gonna get their feelings hurt.
And it's like, Rob, that's what she's basically asking you. What is your choice, right? Her saying, okay, I don't want to get my feelings hurt, is her trying to feel out like where are you at? You know, and he's like, well, someone will get their feelings hurt. He's not even explicitly telling her, like, I'm picking Andrea, you know? And so
Yeah.
then, like, it's kind of making her upset anymore. She's like, what do you want me to do with that? You just said someone's going to get their feelings hurt. And he's like, but someone will. And I'm like,
And
Rob,
he's like,
what?
Leah, I need a minute. I need a
Oh my
minute. I need a minute.
gosh. He
Leah.
gets up. No, no, no. He gets up and walks away
Yes.
first.
And
Then
it's
he
just
comes back. This
he's
is
like
just messy.
crying.
No, yeah, you explain it. You explain it.
No, I think it was he like started to cry, got up, was crying more, and then was like, I need a minute. And then she started talking. He's like, I need a minute. Like he kind of like snapped at her.
Yeah, he snapped at her because he like takes a second. He comes back, and I think she's like, "Are you all right?" And he sits down, and she's like, "Look, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Like, I was just letting you know." And he's like, "No, I need a minute." And it's like,
Yeah, he's like,
Rob, what?
yeah, like what it was very like, I'm like, what's this emotion? Like this is very like you kind of have a temper, like this is an ick.
This was some reverse psychology crying.
It
I feel
was.
like he knew he was in trouble.
Hmm.
Okay. He knows that she's feeling a type of way. So instead of acknowledging her feelings, he makes it about him and starts crying about nothing. Because what are you upset about, Rob? What is there to cry about, Rob? He like turns it on her and makes it about him and then
Hmm.
gets mad because she's like, I just wanted, she's like apologizing to him. And he's like, Are you really talking about yourself right now? Like,
He's like,
I'm upset.
ask me
Why
how
aren't
I'm
you?
feeling. Ask me how I'm feeling. And it's
And
like, what?
she's just like, okay.
How are you
And I think the
feeling?
whole thing just kind of confused her too, us as well. Like I'm really glad Leah wasn't for the BS because he starts crying and she's just like, what? You
Yeah.
know? And he's like, he starts saying like through his like tears or whatever, he's like, I just feel upset. That like you're not like listening to me right now. You don't listen to me when I talk. You called me two-faced, and she was like, it was a joke. And he's like, well, you still did it. And then like I just feel like our sexual chemistry sometimes just isn't there. It feels forced. It doesn't feel natural. And like, I just need some space and like some time to figure it out. So he's still not even telling her explicitly like, I just like Andrea more. He just like makes it into this whole other thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Rob, I don't believe your tears. Well, I was on TikTok, and so somebody was like, Rob is gaslighting and being manipulative. And I was like, so I immediately saw it through that perspective. I wish
Oh
I like
yeah.
had seen it myself before other people said it, but I think it's clear like these are some like minute. How does she go? She goes to tell you about how she's feeling, but then she's the problem. You're mad at
Yeah.
her because she's telling you how she feels. So you're crying because she's telling. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think he was crying for that and because like he knew he was gonna come across bad, maybe. Because it was confusing because he's crying and he's making it seem like at first like he cries because he likes her so much and he like wants her to see that. But like, he is open to Andrea. But then he's like, this is where I think Leah was kind of picking up on something that like he wasn't saying because that's when he gets into the like you don't listen to me and you talk over me and I don't talk a lot and I'm like well Rob
Yeah,
you kind of do talk a
Rob
lot you just
so
have no
fucking
emotion.
much. I was like, you don't talk a lot, Rob?
You
Yes, you
definitely do, you
do.
just have no
He was
emotion
trying
so
to
it's
make
hard to
himself like a
gauge.
victim in this moment.
Yeah, and then that's where he says the sexual chemistry and it's just like this is where the relationship just blows up because he says all these things I think he's been thinking but like
Yeah.
hasn't
Didn't explicitly
said.
say, yeah. And it's
Hmm.
like you're doing it through tears again. Like this is the importance of like managing our emotions because now that you're like I feel like I don't know if in his head he's like, if I cry, then she'll hear me out. But I think like maybe he feels bad and conflicted, but I also just feel like he just cries and gets upset because he knows he's in trouble. So it's just like oh well, I'm just like, oh, I'm just a problem and it's just my fault. And okay, like I
Yeah,
think he's doing it
you
in
don't
a
believe me,
manipulative
why
way.
don't you believe me? And I'm like,
Yeah,
because you're not being honest.
that's what he tells the boys later is the reason he cried is because she wasn't believing him. And it's like, but you're not addressing the things that she's trying to say to you.
Yeah.
You want her to listen to you, but in this moment you completely ignored her. In your previous conversation, you like you weren't really listening to her because she's like, "Okay," but didn't give you the green light to go and have this long 2 hour bug connection with
This Bug's Life
Andrea.
connection.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know, Brandon. It just gave me the ick, all of it. And then he like walks away, goes into the pool, and hides under the pool.
That was insane, where he just dramatically is like, I need a minute, and just like jumps into the pool, is like
Undresses.
hiding under it. I was like, where is he? Is he drowning? Like, where did Rob go?
Yeah, like it
And
was just weird.
yeah, and then Leah's like heartbroken and blindsided. She's just like, I didn't want to, I wish I didn't hear what he said. Like, if you think I'm such an ogre, then why have you been with me? Like, da 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 da
Yeah.
da. And then Serena comforts her. And that's where
Yeah.
she's like, you are not sleeping in the bed with him.
No,
And
I mean, she was saying she's not going to. Like, she's like, how can I
yeah.
go to sleep?
And she's like, we're gonna go outside to this couch area and we're gonna sleep there. It looked comfortable.
Yeah. No, I just feel like he flipped out. He made it all about himself because he ends it by saying like he thinks she's amazing, but doesn't know if she's right for him. Excuse me, and
Hmm.
doesn't know if they have because she doesn't listen and she doesn't know if they have sexual chemistry, and that's kind of what they leave it at. So she's just like it gives her. She says makes her feel sick, thinking like you've been kissing me and making out with me, but we don't have sexual chemistry, and our
Yeah.
chemistry doesn't feel natural. But you're in bed with me, making out with me regularly, like they're literally kissing all the time. On the last like whatever, what do you call it? The sundown, what is it called?
After sun?
The after sun, they brought them on. Like
Oh
you guys
yeah.
were the golden couple. Like everybody saw you in this way. And so yeah, it just the whole thing was just weird. And
Yeah.
she's like, what does he mean he's not attracted to me? Like none of it makes sense.
He was having his cinematic moment with the water, and then he gets up and goes by a tree and is just like looking out in the distance, just like, I'm a sad blue-eyed boy who just loves snakes and wants to have sex.
Yeah, basically. And so it's like, I don't know, because, when we're talking about people being manipulative, I don't know if it goes through their head, like, if I do XYZ, I can achieve XYZ. But, like, I've had moments where I just feel like people are getting up on me and I break down emotionally, right? And I
Hmm.
think that's what he was doing. Like I think he's like, no, I just need to be more upset than her so that I can get out of this. That's what it seemed like. Like
Yeah.
I've done that where I've just been like, you know what, whatever. Okay, so I'm the worst, which is
I'm the worst.
terribly.
Everything about me sucks.
Yeah, like I'm the worst. It's terrible, and I know that that's not good to do. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not acknowledging it, but I'm just trying to like put myself in his head, and I think he was just doing that to like have an out and make her feel bad, so they don't have to talk about this anymore. And you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think he really was like being kind of manipulative. And
Oh
maybe he
yeah.
was genuinely sad because he did feel stuck in the middle. But it's just like she's been asking you for a couple dates since Andrea arrived. Like, what is up? What are you doing? And first you're
Hmm.
reassuring her, oh, you don't have a problem. Then you're like, I kind of like her. And I just feel like Rob should just, I don't know what could he have done better? I mean, just break it off with Leah immediately,
I don't
like,
know.
hey, I want to protect your feelings. I'm really interested in this girl. I want to pursue things with this girl because that's what his actions are saying, right?
Yeah.
You had a whole picnic with her, then you come back to the villa and all you're doing is talking to her. I think that conversation with Leah should have just been like, hey, look, I am feeling her a little bit more.
Yeah. He just wasn't being, I think, honest enough about how he felt about Andrea. And then,
Yeah.
like, he just didn't handle that conversation well at all.
Not at all, but
But,
completely felt like he was in the right. Completely felt
yes.
like it
Yes.
was good.
Because the next day he's like, they're all like recovering from everything, and he has the chat with Andrea. And he's like,
Yeah.
she just wasn't listening to me. Like, she just didn't care. Like, it was just all about her feelings. And I had to ask
Yeah.
her to ask how I was feeling.
Yeah, I'm crying and she didn't even ask how I was feeling. So that's what makes me feel like you did that so it could be about you.
Yeah.
Like your expectation was that she would ask how you were feeling, come to your side and your aid. Like I feel like you did that on purpose. And he's even telling the guys that like, yeah, I just like broke down and cried. And all of the guys are like, wow, he just cares so much about her that he was crying. And even
And she
Andrea was
just
like,
didn't care at
wow.
all.
And it's like, I need y'all to watch what happened because Leah was being so calm, expressing herself in a very like calm way.
Oh,
And then you
yeah.
break down and have this fit and you cry. Like,
Yeah, and then this is where he like tells Andrea in like such a cringe way. He's like, I just also haven't ejaculated in a long time, and maybe that's it. And I'm like, oh, so this is just a sexual thing. again,
Mm.
the you and Andrea have a deeper sexual chemistry, and she's maybe willing to do more. Who knows? Because him and Leah, I guess, have only made out, and maybe he thinks Andrea would want to do more. And then while he's saying like all this, and then like being like, yeah, she just doesn't listen to me. Andre's there just like, yes, totally. Like, yeah, I totally get that. Like, that's so messed up. And then in his like testimonial, he's like, Andrea is just so good. Like, she just like validates me and she just like listens to me and she's not like questioning me and like all this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you just want a yes man. You
Yeah,
just want someone not to question you, to just accept what you're saying at face value, even if it doesn't make sense and even if it's contradicting, and you don't want to be challenged.
you
You
don't
just
want
want
to
to be
be
like, the only
challenged.
challenge I want is with a snake, not with my lover. And it's like,
No.
okay,
He's like, I don't want to deal with anyone's feelings except for my own. So listen to me, talk to me, cater to me. Because what is Andrea gonna say? And also, like, yeah, I feel like because the whole ejaculation comment, that gave me the ick. I was like,
same.
how did you just sit? And she was just like, oh,
She was
he's
like,
like,
good
oh,
to
maybe I said too
know.
much.
And
And I
I'm
was
like,
like,
ew, this is
no,
like
it's definitely
gross.
just sexual chemistry with them. You're right,
Yeah.
Brandon.
And I
I agree
guess
with you. I didn't
we'll
see it
see.
that way at first.
We'll see what happens with them. But I
Yeah.
had to laugh too because after that, not Serena starting to like Cordell again. She's like, you know what? He's
Uh,
kept some distance. He's been respectful and like low key. I'm like, okay. And honestly, I kind of get it.
do you? Because I was like, are you just saying that? Or
Well,
is that how you really feel?
I think it's more so because she even says she's like, I think it's still just friends, but I'm more open to like having more conversations because I think her thing is she doesn't like the constant like on top of each other, like chasing all that. Like she needs her space. And I can imagine being in that little villa and like them like being constantly next to like Cordell. It's just like it's a lot and she just
Yeah,
needs like time. So I could see,
I get it.
sometimes we want not what we can't have, because when Janae told Cordell she was more open, he seemed kind of like happy. He was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he seemed happy.
So it's just kind of like, okay, now that she's had some distance, she can appreciate him more. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I can kind of get that.
I mostly don't get it, but your explanation makes sense. Because
It's a
I was
little
just like,
convoluted.
it is a little convoluted, but I get how like distance can make the heart grow fonder. I don't know because she seemed really dead set. Like their conversations are dry and stuff. So like, why is it better now? But maybe the conversations felt more like became more natural.
Yeah,
Maybe that's it. If she said that, that would make a little more sense to me. But hey, we'll see what
she
happens.
got to miss him a little bit.
She got to miss him a little bit. And I was like, why is Janae telling him this? But again, like, I just feel like we see Cordell's headedness because I feel like a guy with on an ego trip would be like, oh, she wants me now. But he was like, oh, all right, okay.
Yeah,
Like he was open to it. And like he just seems like a very understanding person. He doesn't read into things. He doesn't put his like emotions into things. He doesn't like take things personally, and I feel like that makes him easier to like adapt to this situation, easier to be around, easier to like date these people and be in this environment. Like I feel like
yeah,
Cordell handles everything really well.
he does. He seems very
Authentic,
emotionally yeah,
mature.
emotionally mature. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I don't think he's like the maturest as far as like conversations, but as far as his like emotions, he's very
But
like,
I felt like his conversations with Nicole were mature. She was just like, "Ooh, I like touching your chest," but he was
oh
like
yeah, yeah,
talking about his feelings and stuff, and I'm like, maybe Serena needs to see this side.
yeah. I was thinking maybe I'm just still stuck on the what's your nationality? Goddamn. Because it's like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
he
But
doesn't
no,
have the
he
best
seems like a good
wrist.
egg. I like Cordell. There's a lot of
Yeah.
promise with him.
Yeah.
Hakeem and Nicole talk a little, and like they seem to have good banter. She likes talking to him, but ultimately, like, oh, it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Because earlier, so this is another day has passed. Serena and Leah sleep outside. The next day starts, whatever. And these are the conversations on the next day.
Yeah,
Serena's saying that, or I mean, Hakeem says in the morning that he wants to give Liv a shot, and Liv makes him breakfast. But then he talks and bonds with Nicole. And I feel like he like flirts with her a little bit, like he's trying with Nicole. So but I
yeah.
don't think she's reciprocating it.
No, not really. She's not that
Yeah.
into it. Leah and Rob talk again. Rob regrets the sexual chemistry comment and says he still likes her, but he does also still want to try with Andrea. And I'm like, why do you regret the sexual chemistry comment? Because it was too honest? Like,
Or you were lying.
or you were lying trying to create an excuse. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
He
it
asked where she slept now, and I'm like, because when they were going to bed, I was like, oh, Rob doesn't care where Leah is. He
oh
just
yeah.
knows she's not with him. He doesn't even check on her. Like, Rob doesn't care. Rob
Yes.
doesn't care.
He
He
was
wants
like,
to put it
why didn't you
off that
come
he
back to
cares.
bed? And she's like, we needed space.
I just felt like we needed space. And even Leah now, that's oh my gosh, there's so much. Even Leah, I feel like she's like kind of walking on eggshells because she's like, I can't read you. Because she's like, oh,
Yeah.
I slept elsewhere. Instead of just saying like, I feel like she was trying to like kind of guard herself a little bit and not really tell him the real reason, which was that you said this sexual chemistry thing and it just made me not want to be around you. But she was like, oh, I just felt like we needed space. Like, I felt like she's tiptoeing because she even apologizes and asks if he forgives her. And I'm like, for what, Leah? You literally didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But he's making you feel bad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you did nothing, girl. Don't apologize to that man. He can take his boots and go catch some snakes. I'm tired of Rob.
Get your boots and your overalls on, catch a snake, and get out of our lives.
Literally.
Uh, but
Uh, oh,
it
and then he tells Leah, "I don't want to not pick Andrea, but or he says I don't want to not pick you, but I do like Andrea. And so I might pick."
right. He's like, it's
Okay.
still open, but I don't know. It's very wishy-washy, but he does maintain he still likes Leah. We cut to the night, they're all getting ready and they're like going out and whatever. They're just getting ready just to hang out at the villa. And they're all hanging out. I did know I really like Serena's bodysuit. Everyone looked cute. And then Hakeem gets a text that they need to gather by the fire pit. Dun dun dun. And then Andrea and Nicole get a text. And they have to decide to couple up with someone. But they can't just pick anyone. Kendall gets a text. And the boys who couple up with them must stand at the fire pit. Now, at first, it's Kendall, Cordell, and Hakeem, which is pretty much to be expected, I think, well, basically with Nicole, because those are the three she was really vibing with. And then we think like, okay, that's it, that's it. And then all of a sudden, Rob goes, "Don't hate me," or "I'm sorry," something like that. And then he gets up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, Rob, no! I thought you were gonna be good.
I didn't. I expected him to get up.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know what he told Leah. Maybe he told Leah something else, but I fully expected him to stand up.
it was hard because I was like, well, I didn't know how it was gonna be because I was like, maybe there'll be like a twist, like you can pick someone who's sitting down, like if you don't want anyone who stood up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you don't need to do this, Rob, because you could also like stay with Leah and still like try with Andrea. But then he like got up anyways. And then we even saw Janae said before he got up, good job, Rob. And then he got
Oh,
up
she did.
anyways. She did.
Oh, when he stayed with Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she just
Yeah,
looked
he must have been
confused.
telling them something else because Leah's reaction, I think he said maybe that he would do differently.
Yeah. Well, he just made it seem like he was so into her, so he wouldn't. I would get from their conversation that like he's still interested in Andrea, but like he doesn't want to like necessarily recouple just yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was surprised that Aaron didn't stand up, but I think Aaron, again in the misogyny of it all, got the vibe that he was feeling Rob more and has kind of bonded with Kayla again, and so he didn't get up. So only
Yeah.
Rob stood up for Andrea.
Yes. Aaron stayed seated and stayed with Kaylor. And then this is where the girls have to make their picks. And this is also too where I feel like this was like the ultimate blindside with Leah. Like he always told her like, "Oh, I'm not going to embarrass you," and like all this stuff. Like you'll be the first to know. And then like the ultimate like, oh, I'm gonna blindside you at this fire pit and get up so Andrea can pick me as a
Mm,
recoupling. That just goes against like everything.
mm-hmm.
But and then that's where Andrea has to make her choice. And I don't know why they drug it out so much. Like clearly she
Yeah.
was gonna pick Rob.
Yeah. There
Eh,
was only one guy standing there for her.
Basically, unless she was gonna do a plot twist and be like, actually, I'm gonna go with Hakeem
Yeah.
to try it out. And then Nicole has to pick. Who did you think Nicole was gonna pick?
I thought she was gonna pick Kendall, but Hakeem. So Nicole is talking and giving her little soliloquy, and she's like, "This guy makes me laugh," and Hakeem is like, "Yeah, I do." And then she picks Kendall, and I'm like, "Oop,
Awkward.
Hakeem thought you were talking about him."
I
He's like,
know.
Kendall makes you laugh. Kendall's not funny."
Kendall's not funny at all, and he's not. But they did bond a lot, and I was like, oh, it seems like she has a more well-rounded connection with Kendall, and so I wasn't too surprised when she chose him.
Yeah.
But then they're all just like standing there awkwardly, and Leah just like is spiraling, and Liv was like, "Go off, who cares?" And
Yeah, again, she's a production plant.
yes. And then Leah just mouths fuck you to Rob. And he's like, what? I can't hear you. And then she goes, fuck you. And then just like laughs. And I'm like, yell
Yeah.
it. Yell it. Start a fight. We need to hear something. You need to tell him how you feel.
And that's not what Leah, I think, maybe she felt like, oh, I should do this, but I don't think she really wanted to. I feel like Liv is like encouraging her, but she's like, her default is to just be like, whatever, I don't care. But
Yeah. And then I did find it interesting. So, like, that was pretty much the end of the episode. What do you think ultimately, like, the two new bombshells?
what do I think of them?
Hmm.
I don't know. What do you think?
I like they're nice. I don't I think I like Nicole more. I don't dislike Andrea, but it's just like there's not too much to her. I feel like Nicole brings more, like conversation wise and just like
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, we
And both
haven't
of their
even
styles are incredibly tacky though. Worst clothes.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Yeah, their outfits haven't wowed me. The crochet thing that Andrea wore to the date was cute, but
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you. I think that Andrea kind of has like not a lot of depth. Her chemistry with Rob is mostly sexual. I think Nicole is actually trying to find like someone that she could vibe with on multiple levels.
Yeah.
And she seems really nice. Andrea seems nice too. Like it's both they're both whatever. But I feel like yeah, we definitely have more depth from Nicole, like you said.
They definitely both came and shook the table.
Definitely.
Um, but and I did find it interesting because I felt like Nicole picked the person she had more of a mental connection with and a well-rounded connection, whereas Andrea picked the more sexual connection. Granted, Aaron didn't stand up, but I think she was into Rob more anyways.
Anyway,
So
yeah, and
she would
maybe
have
she
picked him.
told Aaron, but
She was like, "Don't
yeah.
waste your time."
Yeah. Let's see them connecting later and see if there's actually something real there.
Yeah, because
I
I
just
mean,
hope it crashes and burns, honestly.
I hope it
I hope it
crashes.
doesn't work out.
I
Rob,
hope it's
Andrea,
set ablaze.
America will be cheering when this shit doesn't work out, and I'm
Andrea
hoping
and
it doesn't.
Rob.
Andrea and Rob, what did I say?
I don't think you said. I think you didn't. We were talking about Aaron, but I think I knew you meant Rob.
Oh
But like,
yeah. No, Rob and Andrea, America is waiting for your downfall, I feel.
oh yeah, they do not. Which
And
I think at some point America can vote for someone to leave.
ooh, we need to get on this app and see.
We do need to get on this app. But next episode, which is going to be Thursdays, looks crazy because
Mm-hmm.
you have Leah and Connor potentially like like coupling up, and
Yeah.
Janae like crying about it. Liv and
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem are getting into a screaming match. Leah's like freaking out after that recoupling.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much going down.
Yeah, I don't think Liv expected Hakeem to get up.
No, oh, maybe not. I don't
Yeah, maybe
know.
because I was like, what would she be mad about? I think that's what she was mad
Or I
about.
could see like maybe her asking him and then him being like, "Well, you don't give me the time of day," and like maybe he snapped and then she snapped.
Because we know Hakeem's got a mouth, and so does Liv. So we'll
We
see.
do. So we'll see. But that was pretty much it for the three episodes. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
That's it.
All right. So those were fun. Those were like a jam-packed three episodes, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But today, yeah, it's the day off. Next episode, we'll definitely go over Thursday and Friday, so episode 9 and 10. But I know you're going out of town this weekend, so we got to talk about when we're going to record.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll make something work.
Yeah.
But with that being said, thank y'all so much for listening. Make sure to rate and review us on Apple
Give us
Podcasts,
five
Spotify. Yeah,
stars.
give us 5 stars, write some reviews. Come on, y'all. Show us some love. You can follow us on if you want to see our beautiful faces, you can follow us on and subscribe on YouTube at the Shade of It All Podcast. And you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Shade of It All Podcast. We post a bunch of fun clips. And yeah, we will be back next time. Bye.
Bye.